You thought this was a relationship. What it actually is a trial. It's 11:43 p.m. The kitchen light is buzzing. Your phone feels like a live wire in your hand. You already sent the goodnight text. You already cleaned up a conversation that didn't need cleaning. You already offered a plan, a fix, a compromise. And still, silence. So your mind does what it always does when love turns into uncertainty. It goes recon. You replay the day like battlefield footage, hunting for the instant you lost her. Here's the thing that breaks the whole loop. You are not trying to understand her. You are trying to earn safety. You signed an invisible contract without ink. You signed it with behavior. Most men start with the same bargain. If I'm loyal, consistent, useful, love will be stable. So you become dependable. You become available. You become the man who never drops the ball. For a while it works. Peace returns. Warmth returns. Your nervous system relaxes. Then the rules change. Good isn't enough anymore. Now you must be perfect. Providing isn't enough. Now you have to be psychic. Listening isn't enough. Now you have to surrender yourself. The betrayal isn't that she became cruel. The betrayal is that effort came to feel like a promise that could be cashed in forever. The design of the deal was never about love. It was about performance. Let's keep the jargon out, but keep the science. Humans are wired to scan for stability, direction, competence, and emotional leadership. That's not an opinion. It's nervous system math. When uncertainty rises, threat systems kick on. The amygdala lights up, cortisol climbs, and the brain starts looking for what feels safe. This isn't women are evil. It's two nervous systems clashing. One is testing, one is performing. Both call it love. Here's the mechanism in plain terms. When the emotional temperature drops, your attachment system flares. You feel it in your chest, in your jaw, in your sleep. Your mind goes sharp and desperate. You chase repair. You over-explain. You over-apologize. You over-give. You over-manage. When the conflict temporarily dissolves, your brain gets a tiny hit of relief. Dopamine. So it learns a rule. If I try harder, the pain stops. That's how the loop forms. Over time, you stop being a man with a mission and become a man managing a mood, a caretaker of uncertainty. You outsource your value to her approval, and you pay the bill with your identity. How does this actually look on the ground? Watch the signs. The goalposts keep moving. I just need consistency. Turns into, you're doing it wrong. Then into, you should have known. Silent treatment isn't space, it's punishment. Saying no becomes a crime. Your boundaries are framed as betrayals. Tests pop up right after calm, as if peace itself invites failure. And the biggest, simplest warning sign: you don't feel loved, you feel evaluated. The relationship has turned into a market, and you are bidding against yourself. Listen to these short, sharp stories. Mark tried to be safe by being soft. He avoided friction, agreed when he disagreed, gave up center to keep peace. One night she said, "I don't feel the spark." What she meant was, "I don't feel your center. I feel your fear." Daniel bought safety with money, trips, bills, fixes. At first it looked like gratitude. Then it became entitlement. Affection turned into a subscription. Payment due, or the service ends. Chris negotiated his way out of disrespect. Perfect tone in long texts, late-night treaties. He negotiated basic decency like a trade deal. Desire doesn't grow in negotiations. It grows in respect. Different men, same pattern. Zoom out for a second. We live inside systems that teach this. Social media turns relationships into highlights. Dating apps make everything a market of options. Culture sells the fantasy of mind reading. If they loved you, they'd just know. Therapy language sometimes becomes ammunition, labels and diagnoses used to win, not to repair. So two nervous systems walk in wired for dopamine and wonder why commitment feels suffocating. The system rewards intensity, not integrity. What happens next is ugly but predictable. You keep giving until you are hollow. You keep proving until you hate proving. Needs get swallowed, then leak out as resentment or numbness. The relationship doesn't always explode. Often it ends with a man who is physically present, but gaunt inside. That's the collapse most men miss. It's not an ending. It's a signal that you've been paying for intimacy with your identity. Here's the brutal truth. You cannot buy stable intimacy by selling your spine. If respect requires constant proof, you are not in a partnership. You are in a performance cage. And the person you're trying to convince often isn't even her. It's the younger version of you that learned love must be purchased. So you keep paying. So what do? Without turning bitter and without turning weak. First, expose the invisible rules. Take a notebook tonight and write one line. If I do X, I will be safe. Name the contract. The unconscious controls you. Name it, and you dilute it. Second, rebuild your center independent of her weather. Sleep, train, work, brotherhood, purpose. These are not pep talks. They are structure. A man without inner structure becomes outcome dependent. Outcome dependence is emotional slavery. Third, stop negotiating basic respect. Calm voice, clear boundary, one repeat, then action. No guilt auctions. No emotional ransom for peace. Fourth, replace mind reading with agreements. Weekly check-ins, explicit expectations, clear repair rules. If someone can't do mutuality, no amount of explanation will resurrect it. Fifth, choose mutual effort, or choose solitude. Solitude is cheaper than humiliation and quieter than chaos. This is the awakening. You don't become colder, you become clearer. When you stop signing invisible contracts, you make room for a love that doesn't demand you disappear to keep it alive. That doesn't mean you never give. It means you stop giving away your center as collateral. You stop performing. You set up guardrails for respect, and you insist on reciprocity. If this landed tonight, here's one simple move. Open that notebook, write the sentence, and sleep on it. The next morning, replace one negotiation with one boundary. Show, don't plead. If this video hit home, write same in the comments and subscribe.